Alright, keep in mind that my editing skills and videography skills aren't exactly the best. This video is more than likely poorly edited and poorly written. Everything that is said here is my old head Crim 1.1 pilled opinion. With that being said, sit back and enjoy me bitching. Blackout. What are my problems with it, and why do I think it failed? Well, first off, we have to start with Blackout and its creation. The original Blackout was created on March 2nd of 2021 with a small dev team and an equally small, tight-knit community. This is a far cry from the game that we have today. Blackout now is a much more well-formed and hard-hitting community. Some outstanding members still remain, but other than that, it is a mostly newer, criminality-esque generation. Blackout Revival was in development for over a year, and it really shows. The game is very detailed, with good animations and great texture quality, which surprisingly has decent optimization. Past all the eye candy of the well-detailed weapons and sound quality is the gameplay itself. As usual, you've got your typical health and stamina, par for the course for any general survival game, while adding onto something that Crim doesn't have: a food and water bar. This addition, while neat at first, instantly shows cracks in the design as they don't damage you if you don't maintain it, just making your health and stamina regen slower. Not damaging, just damn annoying. So, great. Not only do we have a fluff mechanic that doesn't really affect the gameplay, as drinks and food are not only in abundance in the ground loot, but also cheap as shit from vendors, it's also just lazy as hell, as since it doesn't kill you, it doesn't really bother you that much. The next thing is going to be paychecks. Criminality has a time-based paycheck system, making even people who don't really do combat or don't really loot get some form of payback. Blackout's paycheck system is XP based, meaning looting, killing, and questing is going to be your way of getting paid. Base pay is $1,500, which isn't too bad, and every paycheck afterwards is increased by $250. While this system isn't necessarily bad, I think that the pay to effort ratio simply isn't worth it, as the meager gain of $250 over time for the amount of XP needed, the cash would be gained through either the combat to get said XP or the questing for said XP. I don't have a real good way to suggest fixing this, other than maybe increasing the base pay and the increased pay by $500 and $250 respectively, making it $2,000 per paycheck and $500 per increase. Now, this is my unfiltered opinion about the worst part of this game for me. It's the fucking community. No group of dipshits makes my blood boil more than some mentally ill 14-year-old Crim players with a caffeine addiction and a superiority complex. If you've ever played Criminality or Onslaught or After the Flash or any Roblox survival game with a gun prowess, you know that the little teams never make it easy. Word of advice for anyone who wants to play solo: either get really good at movement and shooting or play Criminality instead. You're typically going to see groups of 2 to 5 on the regular, either heavy geared stomping out the lobby, or low geared but lucky enough to hit everything as headshots. It was actually so bad that they had to institute a mass teaming ban, which obviously isn't enforced, but maybe it is, and the large groups that I've come across just haven't been touched yet. It's very common to be gunned down on the roof by people dressed in all black e-dater, e-girl outfits from half a mile away. And admittedly, it's pretty damn embarrassing knowing that I can't fight back against them because I'm too fucking old and slow to see them before I'm dead. Now, for the final thing that I want to harp on: progression and gear. Low-level Blackout consists of looting safes and lockers for Glocks and Uzis, trying to get enough XP to level up to unlock the Desert Eagle and the Desert Eagle only. When Blackout Revival came out, you had the ability to buy the Outlanders kit for Robux, about 500, which came with a modded MP5, a 1911, a katana, and $25,000 in your stash, as well as the ability to buy the former and the TAC-14 shotgun from vendors, which was a pretty decent leg up. Now, the problem is these weapons are absolutely garbage when it's so easy to get even the highest tier weapons like AKs, M4s, FAMASs, Galils from crates or just straight up buying. Cash isn't an issue as you can get money from easily just looting and getting valuables. And then just like Crim, there's no low end gameplay, just the best of the best, and that gets boring. If you've ever played Escape from Tarkov, it's like everyone's permanently stuck in end wipe with the best gear, so when someone new or returning joins in, they get folded by a guy in a fucking mech suit that has a jetpack. Do you see these guys here? These guys are part of the problem. OP ass armor and virtually no way to kill them or defend yourself. What the fuck do? You either quit, which is the safest option, or you run. And given that the armor has virtually no slowdown, they'll catch up to you or just shoot you enough to kill you, which is just boring. So, how do you solve this issue? Well, by this point, it's too late. People already have all these really powerful weapons and armor, meaning if you got rid of them, the community that does have them would be pissed and leave, which would only kill off the remaining player base. The reality is that Silver and his dev team should not have added this sci-fi-esque armor without adding some form of counter, cheap or not. All it does is give the people with no life or a large numbers advantage a way to not only make the skill gap, but player gap larger. There's a reason why Grim has so many more players, because everything is viable. Look at this shit. 2 fucking damage? Not even Crim is that low, and RCU used to be the most OP shit on the planet. Fixing this problem comes down to a multitude of things. A rebalanced economy, rebalanced weaponry, and a change to the loot pool. It's real easy to say, oh, but none of this would fix the game. And to that I say, shut the fuck up. Reduce the cash given via looting, make looting card areas more risky with a similar reward, and nerf higher end weapons ever so slightly and buff the lower end weapons ever so slightly as well, to at least semi-compete with the rifles, and get rid of the unnecessarily overpowered armor that you can't even obtain 90% of the time. Alright, so there's probably been enough of my own schizo rambling in this video to last a lifetime, so I'm gonna give up some closing words. Keep in mind that all of this has been my own opinion. I came from a Blackout where the best armor that you had was a 30% damage reduction and your movement skills. This new age of Blackout with an incredibly dark day and night cycle, as well as no incentive to be even remotely friendly, has created a hostile and frankly quite evil remaining player base that continues to dwindle. Things really need to change in order to regain those lost players as well as get new ones. And don't even get me started on the Robux price tag. Are you fucking kidding me? It pains me to see the state that the game is in, but when my closest friends quit the game due to boredom and a lack of content, it's a problem. One former Blackout player and my friend Swervo had this to say. So, I played Blackout for a good bit. There's a lot of cool things about it, such as the parkour and the gunplay, but the gameplay loop to me is just not satisfying or fun. And maybe the testament of one player isn't much, but you ask around in the Discord or even in game, and you'll get similar responses. In conclusion, I think Blackout is bad because it enforces a boring shoot first, ask questions never gameplay loop, while leaving no room for new players to even give the game a second chance. Is Blackout dead? I don't think it's dead, nor do I think it'll fully die, but there will always be the ones who've grinded so much that if they quit, they feel like they'll have wasted their time. Did Blackout fail? Fail as a game? Sure. Its player count has obviously been dwindled since launch and hasn't shown signs of returning, and I do believe that it failed as a revival, as it just wasn't similar to the old Blackout. It had nothing in common other than some weapons and the original bunker. With that being said, I think that Blackout is fun, but not a good game with some room to improve. I think that if the devs fully strive to make it a good game, then it will truly be a Blackout revival.